Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jay Smart, and I am the chair of the psychology department here at Miami University. And this video is a quick overview of the major, just to give you an idea of how things work as a psych major at Miami. And this could be for current majors, it could be people that are interested, or it could be people that are thinking about Miami and we just want to learn some more about what we do in our department. So let's get into it. First, I want everyone to know that, as you probably guess, psychology is a major of many opportunities. We're what's known as a hub science, which means that we branch out to lots of other fields, but it can also mean that we are the center and that, in order to do other things, you have to come through us. Whichever way you want to think about it, that's fine with me. I like either way. At Miami in particular, we're going to try to do a few things for you as a major. And one of those things is that we're going to give you a breadth of knowledge that comes from our intro class and from our breadth requirement, which I'll talk about a little later in the video. We'll also give you a depth, and that is that everyone can specialize in a particular area of the major once you've gone through the breadth requirement. And then also you're going to get a skill set. And that skill set is through our statistics and methods sequence. And these are skills that are going to be useful no matter where you go, whether you're taking graduate school or employment. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. So let's get started, and we'll start at the top with Psych 111, which is Introduction to the Field of Psychology. You can achieve this a couple ways, either by taking it from us, or if you take it from our sister major, Educational Psychology at Miami, that's EDP 101, that will count currently. Or if you have AP credit or College Credit Plus from while you're in high school, either of those can count for that. Whichever version you take, you still need to take Psych 112. Psych 112 is Foundation of Experience in Psychology, and it's basically an introduction to us as the major, and it's basically a longer version of this video. But it's also a chance to participate in some things, to do some career activities, get engaged in some research as a participant, and learn a little bit about what science happens at the ground level in our department. So it's very focused on things that are happening at Miami as far as psychology goes. I want to take a minute to talk about our stats and methods courses because these are the only ones that you have to take in a given order. Basically, you have to take Stat 261 from the Statistics Department, that's the university, Psych 293 from us, and then Psych 294, which is Writing and Research Methods Psychology from us. These give you the core skills that we believe that any psychology major needs, no matter what their path, but they're also skills that employers want. So this is analytics, this is design and problem solving, this is teamwork, this is communication, both written and oral. So these skills that you pick up in these courses can take you in lots of directions. So that's why we one, front load them early in the major, but two, we think they're very important for understanding how psychology can happen in the field from that. The other thing is that a couple of notes that first statistics class can be AP as well. If you have taken another stat class, you can also potentially substitute that first class, and I would just ask that you talk to our lead department advisor, Dr. Robin Thomas, for that. And these courses also fulfill not just for the major, but stuff for the college and university as well. They fulfill requirements for both the College of Arts and Science and the Miami Plan. And a quick note about the Miami Plan is that there are 2 Miami Plans currently. For those that entered prior to fall to 2023, you are under the Global Miami Plan. For those that have entered after 2023 and beyond, those be entering this year, you're going to be under the Miami Plan. There are some differences between those 2 plans. From that, if you want more information, you can go to that link that's flashed on there. You just have to copy it from there. But in either case, these courses count for formal reasoning, for quantitative literacy, and advanced writing. So these are things that are all baked into the major. So they're useful in a number of ways for that. As far as the depth, once you take a little bit of the major, and you guys could probably guess it's a pretty broad field, you can specialize in a particular area, and that helps you tell a coherent story about your psychology experience, because one of the things that we know is that when you tell people about psychology, they're kind of not sure what to do with it. They have a kind of intuitive feel, but it's often wrong and it's often very stereotyped. And there's lots of things you can do with this major, and probably things that you probably hadn't thought of yourselves. So this is another reason for this overview in this video. But the thing about this is you do not need to declare it. You just take courses in a particular area that you're interested in, and it'll automatically update in your transcripts. Dovetailing with this is our upper level class requirement. Again, this gives us our depth. And what that is we'd like you to take 4 upper level classes, 2 300 level, 2 400 level, and one of those is the capstone for that, which is also a Miami plan requirement, or for either plan for that. This will bring you up to about 36 hours at minimum. Most majors are taking between 40 to 43 hours from that. However, it is very flexible in that aside from the stat sequence, you can take courses in pretty much any order, which makes it very easy to dovetail this with other majors if you're interested, and really create a program that's unique for you. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about the areas in the department and give you a good feel for what kind of courses are available through our major. All right, so let's get to that. All right, so as you may have guessed, psychology is a very large field. So one of the things that we do at Miami is we try to make sure that we expose our majors to as much of the field as we can and enough depth for them to make a decision about what they might want to do in the field. So all our majors are required to take one course in each of our core areas, as they're listed here on the screen. These are alphabetical order, not in terms of importance. So we're going to start with biopsychology, and biopsychology is directly the study of the physiological underpinnings of behavior. We have faculty that are both experts in both human and animal neurophysiology, and we employ a number of techniques in our laboratory. So really some cutting edge and exciting things are happening here. From the set of courses, basically what you do to get the area focus is you take 3 courses in this set, and that will give you the area focus in biopsychology, a concentration in this area. Again, you do not have to clear it, it will just show up on your transcript. Another great opportunity that's in this area is that we have a couple things. We have a neuroscience co-major, a neuroscience minor, and we also have something that's called the BERT-BN program, which is the Broadening Undergraduate Research Participation in Behavioral Neuroscience. This is a year-long sequence of courses that basically is a year-long lab experience. The courses listed here, 320 will be eventually changing to 252, but it's not the same intro course. But what it does is it allows you to engage in a project from ideation and research background and learning literature to actually learning skills, to actually doing the study, to actually analyzing it and presenting the results at the end, excuse me, for that. So this is a great program if you can engage. This is typically for juniors, so you apply in your junior year to engage in this in your senior year. The one thing is that it will not be running in the 24-25 academic year because of constructions happening in the department. We will not have access to animals this year, so we will not be running the program, but it will be back the fall of 25. So if you're thinking about this, you would apply in spring of 25. And again, we're targeting juniors mainly for this. If you have questions about this program, please reach out to Dr. Jennifer Quinn, who's the person you see down at the bottom of the screen there. All right, our next area is cognitive. And cognitive is really the study of the mechanisms for thinking. And these core mechanisms are things like attention, perception, memory, problem solving, decision making, learning, language, motor control. These aspects that kind of are a way that we engage in successfully with our environment and understanding really the processes that underlie that. Just as in biopsychology, you take 3 courses in this set, and this will give you area focus in cognition. For those who were not majors and are probably our current juniors, this also is a thematic sequence. Remember, the people that are under the Global Miami Plan are the ones that have to take thematic sequences for that. So this is the Sci-Fi thematic sequence if you're interested. Again, there's 3 courses here for that. Next is developmental. Developmental is looking at how our mental faculties develop, grow, and change over the lifespan. And this is both looking at uh, children, which most people think of, but also through adulthood, because these changes are, again, these are lifelong changes for that. Completion of 3 of these courses will give you the area of focus in developmental. It is also for those that are eligible of thematic sequences, the Psi 2 thematic sequence for those that would be interested in doing that. One quick note here, if you're transferring in a developmental course from another university, make sure you check with our lead advisor, because our intro class is a lifespan course. That is, it goes from infancy to adulthood. If you had a class that is focused on a particular age group, check with our lead department advisor to see what's the most appropriate transfer for this. Next is individual, and this is really what most people think of when they think of clinicals, and it's again looking at issues of mental health and wellness, and also what happens when things don't go as planned for that. Completing 3 of these courses also gives you the area of focus in individual. This is also a thematic sequence for those that are not majors and are current juniors or seniors. This is a Psi 1 thematic sequence, and completion of those specific courses can satisfy this. Now, if you do have to substitute a course, again, talk to our lead department advisor for that. I'll have that email at the end of the video. And finally, social. Social, again, to separate this out from things like sociology or political science, it is still the study of the individual, but just how the individual functions in the context of others. In particular, our social program has a strong focus on health and well-being. So there's a lot of health-related research that happens in the department, but also looking at things like stigma, things that look at ostracism, things that look at belonging in those senses. So very key and very timely topics in this field. So if you're interested in this one, taking 3 courses in this block will give you that area of focus. So what I'm going to do next is talk about some combined areas that we have to match some of the interests that people have. Like I said, you can combine our major with other things. And so we have developed some thematic, areas of focus that try to capitalize on that. So we'll be talking about that next. All right. So as I mentioned, we also created some areas of focus that merged across areas to help make bridges to other aspects of interest areas that can occur, because again, psychology being a broad major, there's lots of places it can go. So the first of those I would like to mention is the culture and diversity track within the department, and this one has Psych 210 as its base, which is psychology across cultures. It is a blend of social developmental individual courses, and it's a great choice if you plan to work in diverse communities or have human resource interests, because again, what it's looking at is how to apply psychological principles to a broad array of demographics. We know that psychology is developed with a particular demographic in mind and from a particular viewpoint, and as much as we would like those to be universal principles, we know that culture does play a role. So this is a good set of courses to help us figure that out and navigate that kind of process for that. So to complete this area of focus, you take Psych 210 as the base and 2 other courses in the area. Another one that's also interesting is the decisions, leadership, and organization area of focus. And I want to spend a minute to talk about this because it does have a couple unique traits to it. First is that if you're a major, this is going to appear separately on your transcripts. This does not mean that you have to take this area of focus. It appears separately because it has 2 base courses instead of just 1. And that means that the system couldn't just lump it with the other areas of focus. So while it appears separately, it is not something you have to do in addition to other things you're doing. It's still a choice from that. Having said that, it's an interesting choice. It's a great choice if you're interested in industrial organizational aspects of psychology, human resource, management, those type of tie-ins with things like business that might be interesting to you. The difference here is that it has the 2 courses, so you take one of either 221 or 271, one of 210 or 325, and a third course. And one of those 3 courses can also be from our sister major on the regional campuses, psychological science, and that's psychological science 310, which is introduction to industrial organizational psychology. So again, if there's additions we have to make or substitutions, please reach out to our lead department advisor. Our final mixed area is the persuasion, intervention, and behavioral change. And this is made up of social, developmental, and cognitive courses. Great choice if you're interested in looking at marketing or advertising application psychology from that. And again, 3 courses from here will give you that area of focus. So hopefully this gives you an idea about the breadth of things you can do in the major and the fact that you can still specialize in the area that kind of speaks to you. But there's also things to do outside of coursework. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about these. There are many opportunities outside of class. One of the primary things that we're really proud of in our department is the ability to research with faculty and graduate students. You can do this from semester 1. You do not have to wait. A list of our research labs can be found on the psychology webpage. And currently, nearly 40% of our undergrads, we have one of the largest majors on campus, also work in a research lab with faculty and grad students. If you're interested in getting more detail, aside from the webpage, if you're on campus, we have open house beginning of each semester. So this year we have it August 30th and January 31st are our next 2 open houses. We have all our labs, our student groups, partners from across the university, career services, the library, the graduate school, lots of things, and I'll talk about a couple of other things in earnest. For those that are interested in research, there's also opportunities for getting departmental honors through a thesis, and you'd apply for that your junior year for that. There are also several student interest groups that run through the major. We have, I think, 7 groups that run through the major. A couple of those I'll highlight is that we have a peer advising, so that's actually senior students that are advising underclassmen. That's the Center for Psychological Inquiry. We have honor societies, Psychi and Neurosci, which is psychology and neuroscience, respectively. And I do want to point out that there are a lot of ways to branch this out. So a couple of things that I want for there are 2 4+1 programs. So it basically is where you complete your undergraduate and master's degree while you're at Miami. Currently, we partner with 2 departments, our system educational psychology and family science and social work. Those 2 majors that you can start with a psych major, branch to them beginning your senior year, stay for an extra year, and you'll also complete a master's from those 2. We also have 2 co-majors, neuroscience and pre-art therapy, that are also available to our students. And there's lots of related majors. Again, psychology is not a large major, so it is very easy to pair with other things, particularly if you're staying within the division. So things like sociology, philosophy, anthropology, organizational leadership, linguistics, communication, all these things have very strong ties to human behavior, and so I think are natural kind of fits for this, tying with this. It is also possible to major across divisions, but that's going to take a little bit of advising help, and so make sure you reach out to us. So I hope this gives you a good idea about the possibilities for psychology at Miami and the kind of things we can do. If you have further questions, please feel free to reach out at psychology@miamioh.edu or psychologyadvising@miamioh.edu, which will get you in contact with our lead department advisor, Dr. Robert Thomas. And again, if you see me in the hall, say hey. I don't bite, and I'd love to chat with you if you have questions. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was informative, and everyone take care.